Today's guest on Kevin Richards VIPs is an amazing and dynamic woman from this community who's both inspiring and driven and has taken the stage for huge accomplishments. Today you get to know Robin Clay Nurse. So Robin, welcome to Kevin Richards VIPs. I've been looking forward to this interview for a while because I've been watching you on stage. I've only recently gotten into watching the fitness community, and it's amazing how well you do. So Robin, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
I want to know so much about you because you have an incredible story. And one of the things I want people who are watching to know is you're not just a trainer. We're going to talk about your training world.
Yep.
But before you're a trainer,
yep,
you do other things.
Yes.
Such as?
Such as, well, single mom. Before I started my fitness journey, I was a single mom for a long time and still continued after that for a while. But I went to dental school to become a dental assistant when I first became a single mom. Did that for a little while.
That's hard to juggle.
It was, yep. School, and the kids were young at the time. I think they were 6 and 8. From there, I worked as an office manager in a dental practice for about 7, 8 years. Lost my job there and decided I wanted to take it a step further into paramedicine. Okay. So I went back to school for that, and that was a full-time job on its own. So I was also unemployed at that time and going to school and had 2 kids.
And a paramedic.
Learning to be a paramedic, yep.
So then when did that happen? When did you become the paramedic?
So that took about a year.
Yep.
During that time, that's when I decided I wanted to get into fitness competitions.
Okay.
I had gotten out of a very unhealthy relationship and I needed to find myself again. So many people knew me as always happy and strong and confident, and that had been taken away. Like I literally walked with my head on, like looking at the ground.
That's unfortunate because there's a lot of people who do that, but you managed to break through a lot of barriers.
Yeah.
Now, from things I've noticed, there is part of the wonderful dark side of, not just fitness training, but the fitness community. There's all kinds of things that run rampant. We're not going to talk about those today, but there are those negative people who think that they're just, well, who's this new person coming onto the stage?
Yeah.
How dare she? And then it's a bikini back pose and they think they've owned the stage, right? And they're flexing and they think they're all of that. And it's territorial. And so just the stage alone, before we get into your other story, how hard is it to break into that stage?
Well, when I first started this, it was in 2010, and it really wasn't all that popular with women. And there was different categories, which we called bikini and figure back in 2010. Some of the other categories that have come up weren't there at that time. I was probably one of the first women in this city to do a competition. And I chose figure. Bikini, as you mentioned, was the girls a little bit more
softer.
Softer, muscular-wise. Basically, like a fitness magazine bikini look is what they were doing. I didn't feel I could do the posing and come out there. Plus my age at the time. Like I was 40 or 41 at the time. 2010, so 42 really at the time, getting into this. So to do that at my age and to come up on stage and flaunt certain body parts that way, I didn't feel comfortable. So I decided I would do the figure.
And there's age categories too.
There is age categories, yes.
Because that's kind of like, oh, I don't think I can take that girl on.
Yeah, because the open is 18 and older. So I decided, I reached out and searched for a coach, and I was recommended somebody at Good Life at the time, and we worked together for a little while. The fit just didn't work the way, this person was really good at football players and bodybuilders, and I needed somebody that really was good with women bodybuilders. So luckily I ended up finding a coach at that time that was very, very good at it. Figured out what I needed to do. I needed to eat more and I needed to work hard in the gym. And I did that. It took me about 7, 8 months. And then I entered my first figure competition, which, as I was mentioning earlier, is a little bit more muscular physique.
It's a stronger look.
Yes,
tapered,
it is.
Bigger shoulders.
Little waist, wide shoulders. And you come out and we all do the same poses at the same time. So it's a little bit less stressful. You don't feel like you're out there all by yourself on this stage. So that made it a bit easier for me. So I entered my very first one back then, and I was amazed myself, and I placed second.
And that was on a regional show?
That was on a regional, what they call an open show, so an untested event. But I went in all natural. I'm very huge promoter for all natural, even very little supplements.
Okay.
So I was surprised.
Well, it's like when people say, oh, you took supplements, there's no way you're natural. Supplements are supplements. They're going to give you a boost. Everything's protein and muscle and calories and all that sort of stuff. And part of that, before we even get to the taking the stage, dialing in. So for those who don't know, dialing in is the actual diet and the final training to get you stage ready, right? So what's it like for you to dial in? Because I'm a foodie. I'd never do it. I could never do it. So what's it like for you?
Well, back then, in 2010, it was still kind of what we call the old school method. So you were dehydrating. You were carb depleting, and then kind of carb loading either the morning of or the night before. So it was hard, and it was not good for your body. So, you know, you're used to drinking 4, 5, even 6 liters of water a day, which most people don't do normally, right? No. So, and then all of a sudden, 3 days before your competition, you're dropping down to 3 liters a day, which is no big deal. And then the day before, you're at 500 mils. And the day of, you're at nothing. So you're so dehydrated, like your lips are sticking to your teeth, right? Like it's not, you don't feel good. You look your best, but you are not in your best.
And as a spectator, I've seen, it's funny, because when you're walking around at a show, I remember my first show, and you've got men in little shorts, that are the bodybuilders, or men in the mankini, we call it, the guys with the board shorts. And then women just walking around in bikinis and jackets and spray tanned, but they're all doing this.
They're all licking their lips.
Dying.
You're making me do it now.
So then you take this regional show, which is a big deal for a first time, right? And so now when you go on to a national level, because you didn't just compete in the regional show and go, wow, I did it, that was cool.
Right.
You went on, and it's funny because as a spectator, again, watching those regional shows, sometimes you see people that are like, maybe she should have stayed home or he should have stayed home.
Right.
And then there's people that are like, wow, just like you were. It was wow watching you, right? How have things changed now on a national level? Because if you go to the Arnold's or you go to a big place like that, bikini models look like figure models and figure models look like bodybuilders. Like it's changed.
It has changed. Shortly after that event, I started competing in another federation called IDFA, which stands for International Drug-Free Athletics. And that was actually 3 weeks after.
And that's the one Sean puts on, Sean Campbell.
Sean Campbell puts that on, And it's a great show, especially for people that are just new to this bodybuilding scene. And I entered that 3 weeks later, but there was no Masters division. So Masters is a senior category.
Especially call it Masters, not senior, because I'm coming out to bodybuild. It's Masters.
It's Masters.
And I like that term.
I know.
Too.
That does sound great. Sounds like you know Masters. What you're doing.
Oh, she's been doing this a long time.
Yeah, meanwhile, it's my second show. So I get there and I register and I realize that the age category is open. So there is no 35 and over or 40 and over. It is 18 and over, and that is that. And I looked at my coach and I said, we are out of our league. You are crazy. I can't believe you made me do this. What is happening?
So there's roughly how many people showing up on the stage?
That show was the biggest show I've ever entered, and I think there was 75 women alone in my category.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, now there was different heights, but still, in my height category was 25.
That's a lot, because I see these shows, and I've seen them where, and this always makes me laugh, is you'll see somebody who wins at a regional show because nobody else showed up in his category or her category, and all of a sudden they get to go on to the next level. They get the best overall because nobody else was there.
Right.
And that makes me laugh.
And I feel bad for them because sometimes they do deserve it, but there was nobody to compete against.
You need to compare just for more the glory of actually knowing that you did what you did, right?
And when you leave with that award, it feels better knowing, like, you want at least 5 people on stage. Anything less than that, that first, second, and third, you question. At least I feel you would question. So there was 25 women in this. I placed first in my height category, and then went on to win what we call an overall against the other height categories. That was my second competition ever. And I was hooked. That was it. I was hooked.
Cool.
And I was determined to get a pro card to hold it. And I got my pro card a couple months later with IDFA.
And there are people who drive and drive and drive. Now the pro card is kind of like that carrot before the donkey, where that's what's pulling them. And they're not focusing on the inside. Right. And they're focusing now on that pro card.
Right.
And that's when it kind of disappears from self, you know, that doing something what's fair to you and what's honest to you and something that you're passionate about versus something that's very false.
Yeah.
Right? And there's a lot of that, and that's unfortunate. So backing all this up, so before you take the stage, you're going through this paramedic training and you're going through all these things, your life hit some bumps.
Oh yeah.
And so I know that you're able to talk about this because we talked about this earlier. So let's just go back there into a tough spot, right? You're not just this beautiful trainer, everybody's all loves and always super happy.
Right.
There was a time you hit some dark bumps.
Yes.
So let's go back there.
Yep.
Where did all this start?
It probably started around the time I decided to leave that unhealthy relationship.
And it was unhealthy, why?
It was verbally, mentally, emotionally abusive. Not so much physically. It just, you know, I was with somebody that was just able to kind of keep me down a little bit, and I wasn't confident in myself, and you know, this was through paramedic school and things like that. And I just finally decided, this is crazy. Like, I even felt myself kind of becoming like the individual I was with, and that's not me. You know, I was very...
it becomes parasitic, right?
Yeah, it does, and it was bad, and so I just decided that was it. So, you know, it ended in a very, you know, unhealthy manner as well, but nonetheless, it ended, and that was that. And,
so to walk away from something so toxic.
Yeah, and I went into, to me, a full-blown depression. There was about for me, I couldn't get out of bed for 3-4 days. And it was difficult. And I called my family physician and I went in to see him right away. And he knew my history with now bodybuilding because I had done that the year earlier. And because I was really one of the only few people still in Barrie doing it at that time, it was known, you know. And so he said, get back to the gym. Get back to the gym and drag your, drag your butt out of bed. Yeah. And you will notice that workout is equal to 10 milligrams of Prozac, he said.
It really is. It's that oxygen and a good diet can really change. So
it took about 3 workouts.
That's it?
Yeah, it took about 3 workouts, turned into 5, turned into 2 weeks, and I was back on track.
Amazing.
Yeah, and then I started getting ready to prepare for IDFA Worlds in 2012. Okay. And it worked. It worked. And that was, you know, that was now, because I got my pro card the year before with IDFA and decided let's see how I can do here in Worlds and push through and that's what got me through that depression period. It snapped me out of it, and I focused on me. I didn't even go back to work. I just focused on me and my kids because you know, I was a single mom, and just persevered through that.
And that's amazing to get through that because. And this is such a terrible thing that people who've never had depression or in depression denial like to tell people. They just say, snap out of it.
Yeah.
You don't snap out of it.
No.
It's kind of like being underwater and everybody else is swimming.
Yeah.
Right? You can't just shake it off.
No.
And so for you to persevere through that and break that barricade, right? How do you share that message with other people? Because you must meet women now, because you don't just train 1 or 2 people, you train
a lot. I don't know how many right now.
That's not a bad thing. That's good.
Before I left the house.
You're being tested. Okay. So you're training all these men and women, right? And they've oftentimes got a personal story too, right? Do you find that that's something relatable? Do you find that there's a lot of people who've actually been more like your story and more through some tough times?
Yes.
People don't realize that.
No. A lot of people, you know, I've done a couple talks and they see me and think, you know, she's got her crap together. Everything's perfect and she's married and has 2 beautiful children and this great job and this part-time training and fitness and has won all these awards and she's just got it all together. And then when I actually stand up and tell the story of how it all started and what got me there and what I've been through, it starts resonating with so many women. It brings tears to many women realizing I can do this too. Yeah. And then they find out I'm not 30, I'm 48, right? It's like, whoa, and she's still doing this. Yeah. So excuses don't go well with me. So when a client tries to say, come on, whatever it is, there's millions of excuses we can come up with. I just kind of You know.
Well, it's like they say that those people who complain about stuff, the person who's not complaining and doing something about it is going to beat them either at work or on the stage or wherever it is. If you're not going to lift yourself up, because really, you've got this incredible man who loves you like crazy. It's so obvious. Ingram's awesome. But before Ingram, before your kids, it's you. You're the one that has to pick yourself up. So picking yourself up is motivating and inspiring to all these other people. So now that you've got this message, how are you training people now? Are you doing it online? Are you doing it in the actual gym? Tell me about that.
I would say 80% of it is done online. So a lot of people will just maybe email me or Facebook me, and one of the first things I say is go to my website, read my story, especially if they're coming up with, I've been through this, or I can't do this, or my husband doesn't support me, or I have 3 kids, or I have a job that I work 12 hours a day on. And I'm like, go to my website, read my story. And then they get back to me and go, wow, I didn't expect all that. I have no excuse now. I'll find the time, I'll make the time. So I have a client in Yukon, Whitehorse, sorry. Wow. So I have a client in Denver. I have clients in Niagara. I have clients in Buffalo. I have clients here in Barrie. They're all over the place because it's done online. And
social media is great.
Yeah, it is great. And it's done that way through, so they will contact me and I will get some info from them regarding past injuries, how many times they think they can make it to the gym, any allergies, food discrepancies, things like that. And I develop a nutrition plan for them.
Perfect.
And their nutrition plan will change as their body changes. So it's specifically made for them. They send me updates every 2 to 3 weeks, sometimes sooner, depends on whether they're a competitor or just what we call a transformation client. And
those challenges are great for people to take on their own personal challenge. And it's a lifestyle change.
That's it, and that's what I have to try to tell them. Like, they think that they're building up for this event, and this one event in life, especially the transformation clients. And I try to get across to them that this is not an event in life. This is your life. So when the events come up, you're ready. Right? So Christmas, New Year's, birthdays, a trip down south, whatever it is, you can indulge and you can have fun and you don't have to worry, and you're in great shape because we've focused on the 80-20 rule. 80% of the time you stick to it, you work hard. 20% of the time, you indulge. And even during that 20% of the time, you fill your plate up 80% with healthy food and 20% with the crap that you want, right?
And that's fine.
So it's always 80-20, right? And it works,
Because if you don't get those treats, then you just feel like now you're on a diet. And nobody really likes that word diet.
No.
And honestly, it isn't.
It isn't.
It is a lifestyle change, but it's that first couple days, couple weeks, couple months, then it becomes pattern, right? And you notice that too.
Oh, yeah.
But trying to keep people on track, this is kind of fun. I want to ask you, how do you steer people back if somebody suddenly goes out and they buy, a big fried chicken dinner and they're pounding that back? They get bummed out. They feel like they've let you down and that they've let themselves down. But it's one chicken dinner, right? You just get it out of the tank and move on.
Well, sometimes that one cheat meal turns into a cheat day, a cheat weekend, and it turns into, and it keeps going, right? And all I really say is dust yourself off and start over again. Don't keep making excuses why not to start, why not to begin again. Give yourself reasons to get to the gym and buy the healthy stuff. If you don't have crap in your cupboards, you're not going to eat crap, right?
And that makes sense.
It does. And we all fall.
If I've got celery or chips, I hate to say it. See you later, celery.
My husband's the same way, If I buy junk food, it won't sit there for 3 weeks. It'll sit there for about 3 minutes and it's gone, right? So that's how he gets rid of it. He eats it. So I tell people, throw it out, start over. The cheat meals do happen. But
I usually find I've derailed right after I've just placed my order in the drive-thru, and then I'm like, why am I here? Oh, it's too late. I gotta pay for it and eat it. All right, go home, drink some water, make myself feel better.
I had a client the other day that got a hold of me and said, I didn't do this and I found it too strict and I don't know about this and I don't know about that. And I got back to her and I said, those are excuses you're giving yourself to reason with the bad behavior.
The why
it's
I can't.
Still bad behavior, right? You know, it's like your kid misbehaved and you go, well, they're tired or it's a nap. Bad behavior is bad behavior,
sure it is.
Right?
Yeah.
So we have to correct that. So the more good habits you implement, the bad habits start going away.
It's pattern.
Yeah. It takes 21 days to break a habit.
Yep.
And during that 21 days, you can create new ones.
I've done detox things where I've tried to do things, and it's funny, somebody does it in 5 days or 30 days, and some people call some of them those sit and go to the bathroom kind of cleanses. And then there's other ones where somebody actually gets a meal plan, and they make that lifestyle change, and you've done nothing but actually help them improve their life. Because without your body, it's the only vessel we've got, right?
Yeah.
It's what we're going through life with. You get one,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So when you're not training, what are you doing just for you? What are you doing just for Robin, just to chill out?
Sometimes I fall off the wagon too.
Uh-oh.
I do. I'm just like
Mandarin.
everybody else. Yeah. Not the Mandarin, but I mean, I'm big on still making my own meals. But there comes times where, you know, like over the holidays, families coming, I'm not going to make everybody eat the way I eat.
No.
You're right?
Yeah.
So I will have the treats and indulge in the treats for a little while. But I still make sure I get to the gym and I still eat the healthy foods. I don't just eat the crap. I'll still eat the healthy foods, but every now and then I will indulge in some chocolate and some sweets and some chips and some
Chocolate's
carbs.
good for you.
I do love chocolate. Chocolate is my daily fix, and I know who to go to for that.
Perfect. Well, it's funny because I'm picking up what you're saying on just going through the grocery store, right? People can make a lifestyle change just by simply skipping that cereal aisle or skipping some of the aisles, Pop-Tarts and all that stuff.
Right.
And going down that aisle and over in the fruit section, and I think this is kind of unfortunate too, is in the world right now, you can buy a hamburger for $2, but you're paying $10 for a salad.
Yes.
And that's backwards.
That is the sad part, and
Yeah.
it's something I'm constantly struggling with on how even just to, you know, even what our government allows us to eat, you know, the GMO foods and things like that, that you're really not eating a potato, right? So.
Yeah.
And it's tough, and you know, you see a lot of families that are overweight, and a lot of them do fall below the poverty line, and that's because it is cheaper to give your kids potatoes and Kraft Dinner, and not that potatoes are bad, but things like, you know, Kraft Dinner and a burger, and even McDonald's, you can get your kid a burger for $1, right?
Yeah.
You can't make a salad for $1.
You can't.
Unfortunately, you can't.
And that's wrong.
Now, if you're able to grow things like that, great. Of course you can. You know.
So
and
then what's your advice for somebody who's on a budget? Because I have friends that have asked me, Kev, I got a combined income of less than $40,000 with my wife, and we've got kids. We got nothing. We live in a little rental with nothing.
Right.
And I try to tell them, you can buy pasta for 99 cents in a bag, and you know you can fill up. But just because you're full doesn't mean you ate well.
That's right.
Right. So, what would you recommend then for somebody on more of a lower income diet?
Right.
Just to go to that, just to get some training advice.
So easy, you know, an easy beginning with vegetables, for instance. You don't have to buy fresh, especially at this time of year. Frozen at this time of year is actually going to have more nutrients in it. So those frozen veggies, they are frozen at the point of process.
Cool.
So wherever they're farmed and stuff, they will be flash frozen for the most part right then and there, delivered to the store. Grab the frozen veggies. They're going to give you the same nutrients as the fresh veggies, and you're going to get a lot more for your buck.
Okay.
Right?
I needed to get just one little piece of advice from you because we're going to go back into the whole Robin thing, but I just wanted to know that one because that is something that I think as a trainer and somebody who's doing things, that's got to be one of the toughest.
It is.
Because there are people who want to lose weight, but there are people who just want to eat and just want to be okay.
And there are healthy filling things.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
So when you're not training the other stuff, what are you doing? You've got to have something you do just to chill out. What's your chill out?
I don't know. I'm so busy right now. My chill out is the odd time I will just sit and read. I like to learn more about what I'm doing. So I'm really big on research. So I'm constantly reading, taking new courses, researching about the next biggest thing, the next, you know, either the next supplement, the next food, what's the best bioavailable protein, things like that. I love to do that. So for me to chill, just sit there in front of the computer and learning, I feel great about it because my knowledge is going to help my clients, right? To actually just finally chill and do nothing, I might sit down for an hour and watch Netflix a couple times a week tops. But TV is something I've chosen to give up in order to stay fit and healthy and do what I do.
Sure.
I do spend a lot of time on the computer, of course, building and developing plans. As I said, that's how my clients get them.
Sure.
You know, they get their nutrition and their fitness emailed. They follow that. Any questions? I say YouTube it, look it up, learn how to do that exercise, all that kind of stuff. And sometimes we do one-on-one here at Anytime Fitness.
So one of the things, and Anytime Fitness is a great spot for us to be sitting right now because they were a big part of helping you get to where you needed to be. So it's nice that we're sitting there. So I've seen you at other facilities and I've seen you at the shows, and this is critical, I think, for somebody who is taking that stage the first time. Sometimes they're one person and sometimes you're there with 4 or 5 people that you're training, which can be fun because you can look at all 4 of them and go, wow, they're all different, they're all in the same category or different categories, and you're training for different things, which makes you very versatile. What would you say is your favorite thing about your athletes that you are currently training right now or have trained? You've got people who've had some great success. How do you handle their success with them? How do you keep them in check? You know, and how do you keep some people from falling backwards and being bummed out? Because not everybody gets what they're looking for.
True. I've been very lucky. All my clients so far have placed in top 3 in either their first or their second competition. So I've had a couple of clients that placed 9th or 10th in a large category and just felt like, you know, at first, you know, left the stage in tears because they knew they didn't bring their best or they could have done better. And
it's hard to tell somebody not to step up too if you think they're not ready.
But I do. So we had a big dinner just before Christmas with all my clients, and one of the things repeatedly mentioned was, Robin doesn't hold anything back. She's going to say, no, you got to work on your legs, or nope, this doesn't match. Like, I'm not afraid to. I expect a lot out of them, maybe because I've always expected a lot out of myself when I go to the stage. So many times I felt like I wasn't ready in a way. You know, my coaches would say, you're ready, you're ready, you're going to kill this. And I'd be like, I don't know, I don't feel up to par. And every time I get on that stage, and I would kill it. And I'd come off there going, they were right. So I know I'm hard on myself because I've, you know.
Your attention to detail, though, with every individual athlete, and you have to just say it like it is. And you know what? It might be humbling. It might break a heart, but it's easier to mend a heart than a mind, right? If they can get over it and shake it off in their head that what you said was accurate, that makes sense.
There's been clients where I've said, you're not ready, and I'm not putting you on stage.
But it's not even just your reputation. It's these people shouldn't be up there because they're going to get blown off the stage.
Well, so many of us work so hard to get up there. And it's becoming a little bit of a saturated culture.
I've seen that on the stage,
right? Especially in the bikini category. There's a lot of bikini girls. And the majority of my clients are bikini athletes. That's just the way it is right now. And if I feel that they're not ready and they shouldn't be on stage, I let them know. And
that's a special thing to be able to do.
They usually listen. And I say, and if you're going, you're not. I can't be a part of that. Like I don't want my name up there. I don't want you up there. I think we can bring a better package in another 6 weeks. This is what we need to do, and they've done it, right? So. I brought a girl in March in Coburg who placed, I think, 9th or 10th, came to the Barrie show, killed it, and placed 2nd.
Beautiful.
Total different package. Looked phenomenal.
Something different. Robin, I've had a great time talking to you today. Thank you so much. I really appreciate your honesty. I love the energy that you bring, and I just wish you more continued success.
Thank you very much.
I'm looking forward to seeing what Robin Clay Nurse does next.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's been a pleasure.
Thanks.